Welcome members to another weekly update. Please look at the other video that goes with this that talks about my big picture view and short-term picture view and what the overall market is doing. Because here is where members only get to look at things I'm looking at doing and are doing, looking over my shoulder as I think aloud here on my trades I've got open and the trades I look forward I'm looking at. The so-called Trump rally is still very much on, and one sort of stocks that he's big on. Trump is big on infrastructure and wants to do a lot of building and kind of update a lot of things. And stocks like Caterpillar, which manufacture construction diggers and bulldozers and all stuff like that, obviously makes sense. But what stocks make sense don't always make sense on the chart. Here's one exception to that, where we've got something that makes sense in the whole Trump rally thesis, but also the chart's looking very attractive as well. So there's the weekly picture. It's very, very clear. This is a disciplined, orderly stock that kind of seems to respect its moving average. As you can see, it bounces off it here and there, and then makes a comeback and is bouncing off it all the way. We've got a very sharply rising moving average on the 40-week. But what's interesting about now, of course, as people familiar with some of my strategies will see, is that we've also got a consolidation period here. Looks like Caterpillar is kind of leveling off at around the kind of 91, 92 area. It's formed a very clear line of support on the weekly, which is on a collision course with a rising moving average. So let's look at the daily. And here we see that picture here. I can get my line out here and do it depends where you draw the line. It could be at 90.40. You see that it's a lot of intraday action bouncing off of it. Or I could just go up there and go by the closing day action. It's like 91.60. So somewhere between 91.49, the support is here. And there's that rising moving average here. If I was to look at one thing, that was on the 2nd of March. There was a fair amount of distribution there. That doesn't always put me off with something like this, though. This kind of stock that's consolidating. So this is a great entry point. I'll be looking to enter somewhere around, between 91 to 90, 91.5, 92.5. And, the stop for me here would really be, I think, a close at, I would say 89, and see what happens there. You see, although it would still be above its moving average, it would have broken support then, and that keeps our stock nice and tight. And you can always revisit it there another later. So I like that one. TTPH is the other trade I've got open, and it's really been a star performer, this one. This is why I keep trying to get into trades that keep throwing me off the horse and keep getting back on and letting them ride. Because look at that. That's the 20-day moving average there, which is the one you look at for very high flying moving stocks. And this is just like bouncing up it all the way. It really doesn't get much better than that. And this stock has gone into launch since I entered here around 4.5. That's like a double in money if you'd have just bought the stock alone. And if you see the weekly on this, as I've always been saying for weeks now, this has got a lot of upside. So hanging on to that one and see what it does. I like the way it's clinging onto the 20 days. So if it breaks below the 20 day around 7, I don't know, I might be inclined to take some profits off the table there. But this is going great. CF, I mentioned I was bumped out of that, although taking a small profit, and I was mentioning last time that this was a stock that, if I looked at the big picture on the weekly, this was an orderly chart and it respects its moving average, and okay, it had broken down here, but it got a little bit ahead of itself maybe, and this is just a healthy pullback to what is now a rising 40-week moving average, and it could just be about to start its descent again. Either way, it's providing me with the sort of thing I look for, which is a very low downside and plenty of upside. The downside being is that I can have a very tight stop loss in here, going by the weekly close below the 40-week moving average here, which is the 200-day on this chart, and something like 26, something like that. If you look at the weekly chart, obviously if the weekly closes around here, 26.5, something like that, then I'll get out of it, because that's history has shown this stock respects that. So there's also a kind of little support pattern edging out here around the 28-day. So what you see there is just like one big old pullback, and which hopefully will continue upwards. The point being is that I don't know what it's going to do. But all I know is that if it doesn't work out, I haven't lost much. If it does work out, there's lots and lots of upside there. So I think that was all I was going to look at for now. The gold story, because I know everyone's interested in that, is, well, I don't think gold's really respecting its 40 weeks, so I'm not going much by that. But it does need to get its act together if anything's going to happen here. It's kind of just hanging in right now. So, this really needs to get back above the 40 week and start turning around. Gold miners, it just pretty much reflects the metal, really. It's not looking great. This 40 week rolling over now, which is a very interesting thing, because with a lot of the infrastructure spending and the debt's going to get higher, and so I don't know. But for now, I remember there's investing and there's trading. Investing, my gold is, I'm not selling any gold that I might if I had any physical gold or anything, but trading it's not, it's just not a particularly attractive thing to trade right now. So remember, there's two different things there. So I think that's all for now, and I will speak to you next week.